the high desert in the great American Southwest. I bid you all good evening, good morning, good afternoon, as the case may be, and welcome to another edition of the weird, the strange, the unusual. I'm Art Bell. It's good to be here. Well, I've got a present for you all. Actually, in a way, I'm just relaying a present for you. Has to be one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And you're going to love it. So, if you don't have a computer, why don't you have a computer yet? What's the matter with you anyway? If you have a computer already, and I'm going to presume the majority of you now do, then you must tonight make your way to my website. And the first item under What's New is called Bin Laden Has Nowhere to Run. You guys have got to see this. Now, it's great. It'll take you to Bin Laden's stuff, and then it will load. And be patient while it loads. It's worth the wait. The song was written and produced by the KOMP Rock and Roll Morning Show in Las Vegas, Craig Williams and Sweet Al Miller, Andy Kay, and Doug Marsh, I guess. And this thing is a riot. It's absolutely well done and a riot. So just before airtime, as always, as I go through my email, I found this. Actually, it was sent to me by a friend of mine, Paul. I said, this is incredible. This has got to go on the website. And so Keith did the usual fast magic, and it's up there. Now, you've got to have Flash. Now, if you don't have Flash, it's not going to play for you. But if you have Flash, and you may not find out until you get up there and give it a try, you're going to love this, and so will your family and your friends. I mean, it's really good. It's really, really good. I wish I could play. I wonder if I could. I might be able to play some of it just by holding my speaker up to my... but you know, it's in stereo, and I would miss that. I could try. Anyway, you've got to make it up to artbell.com is where you want to go. It's the first item under What's New, and if you've got a slow connection, you'll have to wait a little bit for it to load, but it's well worth the wait. It's called Bin Laden Has Nowhere to Run. It's up there right now, and it is a total crack-up. Very, very, very well done. Speaking of Bin Laden and the war, the State Department mail handler lay ill with inhalation anthrax today, and the Postal Service set up spot checks at facilities nationwide. In the bioterror scare, Homeland Security Director Tom Ridge said that I guess at a news conference in Washington, we still don't know who's responsible. They don't know who's doing this. Could be Bin Laden and company, Taliban. It could be a separate terrorist group altogether, but I'll tell you, today they came as close as they're ever going to come to saying this, well, this is, in fact, weaponized anthrax. It's extremely pure. It's extremely fine. Certainly in the case of the letter that went to Daschle, very fine, definitely weaponized, bad, bad stuff. Eluding at least one shoulder-fired missile. U.S. jets dive-bombed Taliban positions on the front line again on Thursday. And they're running a nice round, just about 100 missions a day now. Just bombing, and that's another reason this thing up here is very, very good. Osama bin Laden, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. It's great stuff. I'm telling you, get up to my website and see it under What's New, first item. Oh, my. Attorney General Ashcroft pledged to use new powers granted today by Congress to pursue, I've got a question about this, to pursue terror suspects, intercept their phone calls, read their unopened email and phone messages, and throw them in jail for the very smallest of crimes. Has anybody out there noticed lately the internet has been kind of dogging? It's been slow for the last week or two, and I wonder if there is some kind of coordinated attack on the internet. Just something I thought about, and/or some sort of coordinated listening. Maybe the people in Washington are really listening carefully, for those key words. Bomb, fuse, detonator, all those kinds of words that you would not, words not normally said in an airport these days, right? I'm sure they're monitoring telephones for these words, looking for keywords and looking for conversations of bad people, and I think that's just spiffy. Yes, I know, a little worrisome in view of our Fourth Amendment rights, but in order to find these jerks, it's a good tool and we ought to use it. U.S. officials, here's one to worry you, it worries me. U.S. officials are worried that the nation's food supply might turn into the next form of attack the government considers potential targets to be, echo from a show a few days ago, listen to this, fruits and vegetables that people eat raw, and of course cattle that could be infected with some sort of fast-spreading foot and mouth disease. Boy, we really live in some suddenly strange times, don't we? I mean, basically, we had a president that everybody kind of went, not much going on day to day, and then all of a sudden, September 11th, the world turned upside down, and it is nowhere near the same. The world is nowhere near the same. We were just strutting along complacently, and then all of a sudden, boom, in more ways than one, and our lives all changed, and we have a war. I mean, if you recall, we were just, sort of cruising along, right? And it came out of nowhere. The way that kind of thing has a habit of doing. A brief reminder about tomorrow night. I promised you, and so we shall tomorrow night do a very, very, very interesting program. We decided the other night, or I did, that the ultimate question to ask you, a really good one, is to ask you to think out of the box, something my listeners can do in their sleep. And many do. And, I mean, really out of the box. Think wild. Some new, wild, innovative way to win the war we're in. Whatever it would take. And tomorrow night, I shall really try and not be judgmental at some of the obvious craziness that we're going to hear. I will try. And we will simply allow you to bring forth your best idea of what incredible thing we can do to quickly win this war. And believe me, there's a million ideas out there. So, we'll do that tomorrow night. Should be fun. Tonight, next hour, Evelyn Paglini, Dr. Evelyn Paglini. She is a real witch. She is a real witch, and by that I mean she is competent in the dark forces. She can put a spell on you. She can do real magic, real black magic. And that's how I first found Evelyn, because, the normal witches, I get the letters all the time from people claiming to be witches. And there certainly is one other form of witchcraft, right? But they don't much take cotton to the ones who practice in the dark areas. And so there's always that clash there. But if you're interested in a real witch, this lady is something else. She's the real McCoy, Dr. Evelyn Paglini. So there you have it. Otherwise, open lines. I think I'm ready. Wildcard line, you are on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art. It's an honor to speak to you after 5 years.
Oh,
this is Isabel in Byron, California, listening to you on KTKZ on 650 Sacramento.
Oh, that would be KSTE.
Thank you.
There you are.
I guess I'm nervous.
Well, listen, just relax, take a deep breath, and say what you want to say.
Okay. And then one quick thing after that. What on earth is going to happen to us people that order seeds and also people that sell seeds through the mail?
Oh, my goodness. I saw it today. They're irradiating mail now going to the government, and the post office is going to buy these things, I guess, for all mail, and they are irradiating. Yeah, what's going to happen to seeds? And what other things, I wonder, might be at risk? But certainly seeds. Try to sterilize them or something. Huh.
And then I wanted to ask you, when are we going to get to hear from Robert Ghostwolf again?
Well, I suppose in due time. I'm sure he'll be back on again.
I hope so.
All right, ma'am.
Thank you very
much. The seeds. The seeds. What a good point. What's going to happen when the seeds are irradiated? And a lot of people buy seeds through the mail, right? And there's probably other things that probably would not irradiate well. Oh, the mail thing. The poor post office. You know, I'm thinking about it, and you know me, of course, celebrities have it a little more difficult because they get tons of mail from people that they don't necessarily know, and so, plus there is the added risk of probably being a target or possibly being one anyway, so we can't open mail. This war has really screwed things up when you get right down to it, and the poor U.S. Postal Service really is probably taking the brunt of it right now. This must be really hard on them. Maybe that's why the internet is so slow, because so many people are sending email. I don't know. East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, I think you once mentioned that we're being drowned in propaganda, but it doesn't do, I think, just to generally make that comment without pointing out the specifics of how we're being propagandized.
Well, dear sir, the only way you can find that out is to, I would recommend, get a shortwave radio and listen to the BBC, the CBC, listen to what other countries are saying, and then you will understand what you are either A, missing, or B, being misinformed about.
Well, I think that's one good suggestion. For instance, the one station that's usually left out whenever they mention that is Radio Havana, and I've noticed that...
Did you say Radio Havana?
Yeah, I'd like to mention something that has been censored by our own media concerning that. They had a 2-week tribunal involving various prosecutors from other countries, U.S. declassified documents, witnesses and victims of a 4-year campaign of terror that the United States government perpetrated against Cuba, involving blowing up Cuban airliners, bombing hotels, machine gunning people on resorts.
But sir, slow down. No. Stop. You just ranted on there, and the fact of the matter is that Radio Havana is one of the biggest propaganda machines left in the world today, spouting communist nonsense.
Well, let me make this point. The point I'm making is that all of the media was present at this tribunal. It was a major event. It had the former Attorney General Ramsey Clark. It had used various documents from the United States government.
Yes.
They all filed reports, and all of the editors and publishers back here didn't even bother to bash it as you're doing. They just simply censored it because it would violate this propaganda image of the United States as the white knight, white knight Santa Claus, that is only the victim of terrorism, that brings goodness and light to the world.
All right. Hold it there. Thank you. I think I've got it. And I don't deny that occasionally even Radio Havana may run something that is kind of anti-American, but true. The better point made from all of this, aside from the tirade there, is that, yes, we really are propagandized. Never doubt it for a moment. And the only way you can know that is to listen to other news sources. And there are so many of them out there. It only requires your reaching out a little bit. If you have a shortwave radio, you will be amazed at the news you hear that never makes it to the American media. Never, never, never. And we could speculate about why they're too busy, they're covering other things, or we're being propagandized. And some of all of the above is probably true, so you've got to make your own decisions about that. You really should have a shortwave radio anyway. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Art?
Yes.
I thought I was on the first-time caller line. Sorry.
No, you're on the West. Are you a first-time caller?
I am, but I'm on the West Coast line. So
Well, that's okay.
my name's Steven.
Yes.
And I had 3 points to bring up, and they'll take some thought, so I'll take my answer or your replies off the air. The first thing I wanted to bring up in the light of the past month is, at least through the media, hasn't FEMA been awful quiet?
Yes.
I believe that through the establishment of FEMA, they do have the power to declare a national emergency for many reasons, including a public health threat. With that, they have the power to declare martial law and perhaps assume executive powers. So there's the first point. The second point,
you could see that happen here.
it's a possibility.
Certainly we handled ourselves really well after September 11th, but some greater threat could bring that on. It's in the realm of possibility.
And now the language is smallpox.
Yeah.
The second point is, I advocate for your caution in your collective consciousness experiment.
Yes.
Albeit good and in the light, through using technology, there are influences and sources that we may or may not be aware of.
That's right.
And I advocate your caution. And the third thing was that if you think about Plato in his geometry, he had a geometrical form for every element. And one of them was a dodecahedron, which is for ether or prana. And if you took a dodecahedron on scale and put it on the planet, certain points would fall, geographically in certain planets, certain parts of the planet. Anyways, one of them, a huge one, was the Pentagon. And in fact, every U.S. military base is very near, if not on, one of those points.
Have you been studying under Richard Hoagland?
No, I haven't. So my last thought is, and then I'll hang up,
Yes.
is that with a plane crashing into the Pentagon, what is the thought form that went into the grid or the dodecahedron of the planet? Thank you.
All right. Or the collective consciousness of the planet. I don't know. It certainly was a really, really, really major event, wasn't it? So I'm not surprised that it created the spike it did in the graph on September 11th. Not surprised one bit. Okay, first time caller line, you are on the air now. Hello.
Oh, yes, I got on. Hey, hold on, let me turn off my radio, okay?
Oh,
thanks.
that's a must, yes. First thing all callers should do. Finish radio. Okay,
sorry
all
about
right,
that.
that's all right. Where are you?
I'm in Pomona, California. My name's Damien. And I've been listening since, high school. I'm about 23 right now. Actually, 24. I just had my birthday. Well, anyway, Art, I wanted to mention something that on your website for about, since earlier this year, remember how you were having the timeline people calling up a time...
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, well, there was one woman who said she was going through time, but she also had visions. And she said that on February 11th of 2002, there was going to be a nuclear bomb hit New York, and it was going to kill Hillary Rodham Clinton. Do you remember that?
No.
It's on your website.
It was on the site, huh?
It's
is
still
on the
there.
site. Okay. Well, I mean, a lot of people predict a lot of things, sir.
Well, I mean...
does she have a track record that should bristle the hairs on the back of our neck?
Who knows? But, I mean,
okay, then it's just one prediction, right?
Yeah, but it seemed like
pretty negative stuff, sir.
Yeah, but it just seemed like such a unbelievable coincidence that...
It was the 11th.
The 11th, and it didn't seem like it could have happened back then, but look at now.
Well, okay, I'll accept that, but again, just on the basis of one prediction, without knowing the person's track record on predictions, it's something to file away in the, I'll remember that if it happens category, but not much beyond that right now. I don't know why I'm so hooked on this song, but I am. All right, here we go once again into the night. First time caller line, you're on the air. Hello. Hello? Yes.
I'm loving the show.
Oh, well, thank you.
We keep hearing the hollow words of get back to normal, or the terrorist will have won.
Yeah. Where are you, by the way?
I'm in New York City.
I thought you were in New York City.
I'm in New York City.
Right.
I say no. The terrorist will have really won if we don't deport illegal immigrants, and I'll tell you, because American haters have thousands, absolutely thousands of their people in America.
Well, wait a minute. Most of our immigrants are not America haters. They're America lovers. That's why they came here.
No, but I'm talking about the people who hate America.
Well,
who are plotting inside America.
But how do you delineate between the two without, really
without
discriminating
and stuff like that,
or worse?
Right. But when you're at war with terrorists right now, I believe securing your country is the most important thing out of all. Hurting people's feelings, whether it's with racial profiling or any situation like that, is total nonsense, Art. First thing is...
but this is, of course, it's exactly the thinking that got us into the Japanese internment camps.
Well, I'm not talking about interning American citizens.
What are you exactly talking about?
What I'm saying is that people who are in this country illegally must be deported. We must have a timeout on immigration to settle the problem inside the country.
I agree with that. People who are here illegally, that speaks for itself. They're here illegally. Bye-bye.
Right. That should be the first order of priority. You don't hear any politicians. You don't hear anybody in the media call for that. There's only one politician. He's a congressman, Thomas Tancredi from Colorado, Littleton, Colorado, who's actually calling for the deportation of illegals because he understands.
Well, and he's only calling for the law to be enforced.
That's what we want.
That's all. Americans, I agree with that.
Most Americans are all saying, we need a timeout, and we also need these illegals deported because they shouldn't be plotting inside this country. Because what their plot is also to create massive chaos inside this country.
Yeah, well, listen, sir, we should have done that. We should have been doing that before 9/11. We should have been doing that all along. Illegals, by nature, shouldn't be here.
Now, Art, you also brought up shortwave radio before, too.
Yes.
Which sometimes I listen to once in a while besides your show. There's an excellent show on 10 p.m. Friday nights. It's on 7.415 on the dial. It's just regular guys who do a show, and they talk about you a little bit, but they also bring up a lot of issues that the mainstream media will not touch. Look what the situation down in Florida with the Anthrax. They were trying to say that the guy who got it first may have got it in his backyard. He was an outdoorsman. That's totally ridiculous.
I know.
That building should have been sealed off. His home should have been sealed off, and everybody he came in contact with should have been immediately tested.
All right. Well, look, not only that, thank you, but the people, when the mail went through, the government really has admitted that they didn't exactly think this one through on the spot. In other words, when the letters began arriving in Washington, it really should have occurred to them to check the route that they came over. They were a little slow to do that. They knew they came through post offices, but they didn't begin to test for the possibility of anthrax until we got sick postal workers. So they were kind of slow on the draw there. But live and learn, I hope. Wildcard line, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, you had a fellow on last hour who was, last half hour that is, who was talking about Cuba and things going on there.
Radio Havana, yes.
Yes, and I checked up on this fellow a couple of times. I'm not going to give any names or websites or anything.
No, don't.
But he's really misinformed. The people he mentioned that were in that meeting were not there or anything like that, and there's been no terrorism. I'm not trying to defend any propaganda by the U.S. or anything, but I checked up on it.
Well, there's a high probability. I tried to tell them that. Radio Havana, fine, listen to it. I do it for comedy relief. Most of it is communist propaganda.
It is comedy relief.
Yeah.
And finally, something you said, now this is I think you're gonna like this, and I think it's gonna fit in with the Princeton events and stuff. And people will have to pay to listen to this again on your website. The night before all this happened, you were picking up on what was going to happen the next day. You thought you were talking about crop circles, but when you listen again to what you said that night, you were saying biggest news of the day and stuff, and I sincerely think that you were picking up what was about to happen the next day, and you should listen to that again.
All right, I'll go back and listen myself. Thank you. I'll pay. Yes, this whole graph thing from Dean Radin and the consciousness experiment is still blinking outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. When you combine it with the experiments we did years ago, it is so serious. I'm going to talk to Evelyn about this tonight. In fact, I'll probably talk to a lot of guests about it. In fact, I got a note from Dean Radin, and maybe I'll have him on, and he can explain the graph in some detail, I'm sure. But a lot of decisions to make. I mean, do we continue with these experiments? Maybe. What do we do with this power that I don't need convincing. I know the scientists probably do, but I don't. I know it's real. Question is what to do with it and what are the consequences. I have mulled this over a million times, and all I can tell you is I'm thinking about it really, really hard. And I have not yet I have not yet reached any conclusion about what to do. East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
I just wanted to let you know I do what most of your listeners, what you tell to do most of your listeners to do, which is check multiple media outlets for their news, and it sounds like your nightmare scenario with Osama is coming true.
Which one?
The one about him having both possession of a nuclear weapon, or several, and dying.
Now that was, I had a guest on who wrote a really, really good book. God, it was a good book. I read the whole thing. And that was the centerpiece story. In other words, Osama bin Laden, indeed was dying. In his book, it was cancer. And he had a nuclear weapon. And so what are you telling me now?
I'm telling you now that from several media sources that I've seen tonight that he is dying of kidney failure. He's receiving weekly treatments. And that word out of Pakistan tonight is that he may have one or more Pakistani nuclear devices. And Pakistan has taken into custody its lead nuclear scientist.
And tell me where you've heard this. We need to verify this.
Al Jazeera, BBC, Sky News.
Come on now, Al Jazeera, you know that. You know what that is.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know that's a very partisan source, but I've also heard it from BBC, Sky News, several sources on the Internet, ABC, bits and pieces from different
Okay,
places.
That's enough. I will check into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Wouldn't that just be the greatest thing? Can anybody out there confirm that story for me? That bin Laden is dying and has a nuke. That was the plot of an incredibly good book that I read. That you should read, by the way, and I'd be glad to recommend and tell you how to get it again. I enjoyed that book. Boy, did I enjoy that book. So well done. At any rate, could it be true? Could it really be true? Somebody else will have to verify those reports before I'm going to be willing to take them real seriously. But west of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello. Look at that button. Now you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, Art.
Hi.
Randy here in Bakersfield, California, just over the hill.
Yes, Randy.
Hey, I got something that's kind of curious. I think everybody's kind of looking outside the box on this Anthrax thing. You know, it's kind of curious if somebody's dumping a letter inside the old blue boxes and the doors go flying, and if it's weapon-grade anthrax, you would think it would fly around. Next Joe comes along, puts his letter in, or the little kids that like to run to the boxes. How come nobody's showing up with any symptoms out there in the old rural New Jersey or, down there in Florida? And if the person's doing weapon-grade anthrax?
Well, I think clearly because they're being sent to specific targets in New York and Washington, mostly the media, and media in Florida. I mean, the pattern now is obvious. They decided to infect the media and politicians.
But the mailman's got to carry it, right?
Yeah, of course.
And somebody's got to take it to the mailbox to drop it in the box.
Yes, well, the answer is that these anthrax letters are not going elsewhere in the country. Probably, hopefully, right now. They're just going to Washington and New York.
Right, and the mailman comes along and picks it up out of the blue box, and then if these spores are in that box, and you come along and drop your letter in, how come we haven't seen more people getting sick out there? Like the little kid going there to drop the letter off for mom and dad, because, my kids love running to the mailbox to drop the letters off, and then the letter...
Well, there was the child at ABC. I take your point. But again, I think the answer is that these letters are going very specifically to media outlets in the U.S., big ones. news media mostly, and then to politicians and to our government center. And if you're dispassionately looking at this, you've got to say, hey, you know, it really has kind of succeeded. Because that's, the lawmakers are all talking about it. How many news conferences do we have a day about it? The media is exorcised over it. So, it really has succeeded. I kind of think I agree with Richard. You know, it seems like a distraction at the level that it's at now. Even knowing that it's high-grade, apparently weaponized anthrax, it still feels kind of like a distraction, like here's what's going on with the left hand, and like the magician, the right hand's doing something that you can't see. So, we'll see. First time caller line, you are on the air. Hello.
Hey, Art.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got something for you to consider for your quickening.
Yes.
I'll send you the link to our newspaper here in town. There's a tornado here, and I'm in Urbana, Illinois.
Okay.
And there was a tornado in Monticello, Illinois, which is...
I heard about that, yes.
Yeah, and it's the last time there was a tornado in October.
Right.
Was like the late 1800s.
Well, we're going to get more and more extremes of weather, sir. That's not anything I can add to my quickening. That was in it when it was originally written.
Yeah, I just thought I would point it out to you.
I appreciate it. I certainly appreciate that. Thank you. You're going to see lots of that. Record temperatures, record weather, violence of all kinds. There are going to be all kinds of records broken. No question. Wildcard line, you're on the air. Hello.
Art.
Yes.
Hi, Storm Chaser, the trucker.
Yes, sir.
Hi. Sorry about the fast blast the other night.
Okay.
If you know, I was partying. Anyway, Ed Danes mentioned something that I think might be applicable to this current situation.
Yes.
We got, here's the deal. If something like this new fungus that he was talking about were to come into play, any major plague is going to be basically addressed to these individuals who are causing the situation right now.
And that would be?
Pretty well, take your pick. Ebola, any natural circumstance might just get blamed on the wrong people. We'll see how that goes.
Well, listen, there's a lot of that going on. I heard that the Afghans, the Taliban, was going to poison, had a plan to poison U.S. aid food so that the Afghani people would think the Americans were poisoning them. I mean, that's a level of the kind of thing that's going on right now. So I'm at the point where nothing would surprise me. It's real down and dirty time for sure. And you can bet the operations we're conducting inside Afghanistan are being conducted at every opportunity with prejudice, if you follow me. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Good morning, Art.
Good morning.
Pardon me for having my radio on.
Sorry.
I am glad to talk to you again. I talked to you last in February 2000. Do you remember talking to me?
I seem to recall your voice.
Yes. Yes, I'm in New York.
Right.
You know, I tell that because I want your listeners to know. I like that call from the man who wants this country to repatriate illegals. And I like the commercial I heard about parents keeping their kids from using drugs.
Yes. Well, you know, again, we should have been deporting illegals all along. They're illegals.
Yes. I called to give your callers some context about Bin Laden. And I think you can use your internet site. I mean, your listeners. I think you can use your internet site to put this in context for your listeners. Maybe you can put a link to public television's Frontline on your internet site.
What is it? About what?
I mean, Bin Laden and the history of Al-Qaeda.
Oh.
Bin Laden...
I like the Bin Laden thing I have up tonight. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't used the internet for the past few days. I'm going to use the internet tomorrow.
Are you afraid of white powder coming out of your monitor?
No.
Okay.
I don't have an internet account at home.
Oh, I see.
And I'm going to be in school tomorrow. I'll use the internet in school.
All right. Well, check it out. It's first item on what's new.
Oh, look, Bin Laden, I think, wants to be Saudi Arabia's king or Saudi Arabia's president. And Bin Laden approached the king in 1990. Bin Laden told the king, don't bring Americans here. We don't need Americans.
He didn't say, I want your job?
No. Bin Laden said...
Bad form with a king.
Bin Laden said, I know many veterans of the war in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
Let me use my connections, and I'll bring an Afghan force here in case the Iraqi army turns on our country.
Huh.
Predictably, the king told Bin Laden to get lost.
Sure.
And Bin Laden keeps saying the United States must remove...
its forces.
I don't know how many Americans there are, maybe 6,000.
They want us out of the entire region.
That's right. You know better than I do, I think, how many Americans are in Saudi Arabia.
Many. And not just Saudi Arabia, but we are elsewhere in the...
Oman, Kuwait.
Yeah, that's right. They want us out of the whole
Bin Laden
area.
keeps saying Americans must leave Saudi Arabia. And I want your listeners to know, I hesitate to use this play on words. He's not an altruistic terrorist. He doesn't kill solely because he hates Americans. He wants Americans to... When I say Americans, I mean the public. He wants Americans to become his advocates. That is to say, he wants Americans to start telling themselves, boy, Bin Laden's killing us because this country has soldiers in Saudi Arabia.
Boy,
maybe if our country removes its soldiers...
He's really screwing up because we're never going to do that.
Yeah, well,
we're never going to do that.
And I wonder...
That's where the oil is. We'd kill him 10,000 times before we'd pull out of Saudi Arabia. Who are you kidding?
I wonder.
If that's his message, then our message is cruise missiles and F-A-18s and, it'll just keep on happening. I'm White Belt. She is a parapsychologist, one of the leading authorities in the occult and the supernatural in this country, born into a centuries-old family of practitioners of the occult. At the age of 4, her grandfather began to train her in natural magic. A psychic, a metaphysical teacher, lecturer, consultant, doctor of divinity, and spiritual warrior. In 1972, she founded the International Psychic Center, a research investigation organization, been called upon as an expert by law enforcement agencies. She is set precedent in the Texas court system on a child abuse case with ritual overtones, worked with law enforcement on missing persons and murder cases involving the occult and supernatural. Over 40 years of it. You've probably seen her in many other media forms. She's been sort of all over the place. She's a real witch. A real witch. She'll be coming up in a moment. Somebody else, I got a bunch of fast blasts about Saudi Arabia. How we should leave Saudi Arabia because Bin Laden wants us to. And I got to thinking, if you were in the government, and you were thinking about this, and you knew that Bin Laden wanted us out of Saudi Arabia, you'd have to weigh it in both hands, right? On the one hand, you'd have Saudi Arabia and the oil and the flow of oil to the United States. That would be in one hand. On the other hand, you'd have Bin Laden, and whether or not you were going to kill him, or whether you were going to get out of Saudi Arabia and stop the oil flow to the United States. Now, let's see. Let's weigh that in each hand. Bin Laden's life, oil flow to the United States. Boom. The right hand just went up so fast that it flipped Bin Laden into orbit in the left hand. So that's what I've got to say about that. And by the way, the book that I was referencing is Joshua's Hammer by David Hagberg. I sure would like to get some emails from some of you who read this book. This is one kick-butt book. I really loved this book. David Hagberg, Joshua's Hammer, all about Bin Laden having cancer and a nuclear weapon. By the way, we're working on the links right now. There does appear to be something to the news of his having nuclear capabilities. So we're going to try and find the best link for you, and we're going to get that up on the website. There is something to that. Apparently, rumors about his illness, but more substantial news, I guess, about his having either a nuclear weapon or fissionable materials. Either way, not good news. Here from the great state of California, I think. You're over in California, aren't you, Evelyn?
I certainly am.
Is Dr. Evelyn Paglini a real witch? Great to have you back on the show.
Always a pleasure, Art.
I've got a lot that I want to talk about, but I guess I want to begin... where to begin? These people who keep writing me email, when they find out you're going to be on, you know, and it goes up on the guest schedule, it begins. I get inundated with people who say, you're a fake and you're a fraud because there's no such thing as a real witch, because there's no such thing as the dark side of witchcraft.
Okay. Well, I can understand that, but unfortunately, knowledge is a double-edged sword. And so there is a black and a white to everything. All you have to do is have an understanding of the power of the craft. And therefore, you are the determining factor whether you're going to use it for black or white.
Why do you think there are so many people who don't believe there's that black side?
Well, maybe they don't want to believe it. Or maybe they have not come in contact with it, but most of the people that I deal with certainly have come in contact with evil.
You know, I refer mostly to those who call themselves Wiccans.
I understand the Wiccan's philosophy is to harm none.
Yes.
And I respect it. You know, there's many people out there for peace and want the olive branch.
Yeah, but what they almost say is none can be harmed. In other words, it's impossible.
No, they're not saying it's impossible. They're saying that they follow a creed not to use the energies and the forces and the vibrations that they know exist in magic to do harm to anyone.
Yes, but they keep writing me these emails saying that you can't be real because it can't be done.
Well, I mean, I can't, unfortunately, turn around and prove it to each and every one of them. I don't want them to experience pure evil or negativity.
Yeah, but how about a little hair loss or something?
That can be done. I mean, people out there know that they have had spells that have been cast upon them. There have been curses that have gone generational. And unfortunately, they have been put on by practitioners who are extremely good. And they know what they're doing. And they have no time. They have no distance. If they want you, they can get you.
Well,
in fact, we could use that certainly against Mr. Bin Laden.
Yeah, I was going to say, now we have this situation with Bin Laden. And although there are many who have the idea that we should not kill Bin Laden, that we should instead put him in jail because if we kill him, we make him some big martyr.
That's correct.
Killing is still an attractive option.
Mm-hmm.
And
now there's many ways of dying. Maybe we could improve the possibilities of the cancer.
How about a cave-in?
That too.
I mean, if you spend your life in caves, then cave-ins are not good.
Anything is possible, especially when you're using energy, forces, vibrations, and the collective consciousness of mankind.
Well, bingo. Collective consciousness. All right, well, after many years, after several years, I relented, and I did another mass experiment. This one really blew my mind. Dean Radin sent me a chart of random number generators that were affected by what we did. I assume you've seen the chart.
Yes, I'm very well aware of the random number generator, Art.
What is this power? I'm going to ask you, what is this power? What do you think should be done with it? What are the possible pitfalls in using it?
Okay, first of all, what you have to understand is we use only 10% of our brain capacity. Now that we are transforming into an age of enlightenment and awareness, and our intuition and our sensitivities have gained this heightened awareness, if it is challenged, if it is taken and focused like a laser beam, then that power can become a mighty tool. It is forces and vibrations and energies that can be manipulated to cause change. All you have to do is to remember to bind down the action not wanted.
The trouble is, and I think I said this the other night when I was talking about it all, you've seen Twilight Zone with Rod Serling, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's always the big catch at the end.
Of course.
And if you don't think of all the possible consequences of what you're doing, then you're going to do it, and you might get your wish, and then you might also get an unexpected Rod Serling-type consequence.
Yeah, cause and effect. That's why they say bind down the action not wanted. Be extremely specific at what you are going after.
Doesn't this take very large wisdom, though, so that you don't always run into the devil's small print?
Absolutely. Yeah. Very definitely. You've gotten a taste because you have been the conductor and the wielder of a tool. Mass consciousness focused in a direction creates an energy and a vibration that can be used for either positive or negative, Art.
Is there any question in your mind that hundreds or thousands or millions of minds are stronger than one?
Yes, absolutely. And don't think that the Taliban and that regime out there is not using it, because they are. They're very much into ceremonial and ritualistic magic.
Well, I do believe they get down a few times a day and bow to the east, don't they? And
they do more than that.
So forth.
They do more than that.
Yes. So they are using that power.
Yes, they are.
We were discussing with a very interesting gentleman the other night whether we really are winning this war as handily as you would think if you watch the daily news conferences with the generals and the pictures of things blowing up and stuff. Are we really winning the war that handily? Or in fact, if you consider what they did do to the World Trade Centers, thousands of Americans dead, the Pentagon, and now the Anthrax baloney, maybe they're winning.
At the moment they are. You have to understand they have a hidden agenda. They want to completely traumatize our minds with fear and insecurity. They want to attack our belief in this great nation. They want to keep us confused and frightened.
I don't think that I don't think they're succeeding in polluting our minds with regard to this great nation. I don't see much of that, but I do see people scared.
Well, that's coming.
I do see people scared, though.
No, that's coming, babe, because it's going to escalate. Make no mistake, this is only the beginning, and it is a fight against good and evil.
Is there any way that you have knowledge indicating that beyond what the average person might have?
Yes.
What?
I have knowledge of it. That is not only escalating. What I'm worried about, and I've been picking this up as I have been finding these tentacles that are so far-reaching. Bin Laden is a front, and there are other, more sinister, more evil men that are the directing force of this. The hidden agenda goes decades as well as centuries back. They want this nation to be subservient. They want to control.
They want us to be servants?
Yeah. It's never going to happen, cannot happen, will not happen.
No.
They cannot touch the spirit of this nation, but they're trying.
Americans would make terrible servants. Absolutely terrible. You know, they tell us to go...
subservient if you're frightened enough. If you're kept in fear, and this psyche, that's what their intent is, to bombard the psyche on a continual basis. This nation has never lived this way. Look, it's been going on for just the last few weeks.
I know. Nothing like it in my lifetime. I've never, of course, we have never experienced an attack on America before.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
And so 6 months from now, 9 months from now, how many people are going to be going into therapy? How many people now are having problems with coping and managing their fear, their anxiety, their depression? And they have to find releases for it. And I got news for you, Art. I've got a few to give them.
Oh?
Oh, yes.
Well, then, by all means, because there are a lot of people so suffering.
Well, first of all, what they should do is find a release. And one very, very good release is to get into a meditation. to remove all of the anxiety and pressure and tension, and then to concentrate on revitalizing and rejuvenating the body. Another to calm their fears is because people want to know, how can I protect the nation? How can I protect myself, my loved ones, as well as our servicemen and women in the armed forces? Well, there's a way to do that.
And how is that?
Well, the first thing they would do would be to take for the nation any white candle, especially one that would be like a 7-day candle. I wouldn't use a taper, but I definitely would use a 7-day candle. And then I would get an essential oil called Shield of Protection. And you can put a shield of protection around this nation, a dome, an impenetrable dome, that the only thing that is allowed in is that which comes from God and goodness. And everything else is repelled or boomeranged back to the sender.
That's kind of like a spiritual Star Wars, but much cheaper.
Right. Next, you can get either a male or a female white image candle, and you can get this in any metaphysical store. And you can use imitative and sympathetic magic by, one, consecrating in the person's name that individual that you wish to be the subject that you are going to protect. And I would say it. I consecrate thee in the name of the first and last name of the individual.
That's how you do it.
And then I would add, whatsoever I visualize shall be done to you, so be it, it is done. Now, that image candle has become an effigy, a subject. And now you, the practitioner, are going to put a shield of protection, using the shield of protection oil around that person, be it yourself, a loved one, or the men and women in service. And that's another way. Now, if you want to protect the home, okay, you can use rue, 5-finger grass, bodo leaves. You can use sulfur. You can use black salt. These are all the tools that nature gives you.
I'm laughing, Evelyn, because I have a lot of protection things around my house.
But because she's well aware.
You know Ramona.
Of course.
And it's really
She's
funny.
a
I mean,
practitioner.
there are circles and things outside, and reporters come over to the house sometimes. When I let them in, it's very occasionally. And they always say, wow, what's that? And I say, oh, it's a garden. Well, that's a very unusual garden.
That's right. Now,
so these things really work. They really.
Oh, they really
work. They
work.
really do protect.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to release this feeling of helplessness, this feeling of wanting to get back at the atrocity that was committed, then there is a candle that is called a jumbo double action reverse.
A jumbo double action reverse?
Yes. Now listen to me. This is a very strange candle.
Okay, go.
If you want power over your enemies,
yes.
If you want to defeat your enemies and cause confusion to your enemies, this is the candle to use with reverse oil.
Reverse.
Now, it takes dedication, Art, because this is not something that's easy. You've got to be in front of this candle at an altar, probably minimum of an hour.
Oh, really?
I do about 2.5 hours a night.
It's a serious ceremony.
This is high magic. We're talking ceremonial magic now.
All right.
Now we're going to get into it.
What, a double? Say it again, please.
It's a jumbo double action reverse.
Jumbo double action reverse.
Yeah. And you can get it in any metaphysical store, and for those people who can't, they can call me, okay, and I'll give it to them, 818-783-2995.
You sure you want to do that?
Yeah. In fact, I'll even give them 30% off of anything that has to do with protection or anything that has to do with going after this terrorism and this enemy.
A jumbo double action reverse. It sounds like a pump shotgun with extra features.
It is.
Of candles, right? And then
you have no idea.
And then it requires a minimum of an hour a day in front of this thing.
Oh, yes. Focusing your attention, visualizing that which you want, which is power. Okay, in other words, you are now empowering yourself. And you are taking that power and using it against your enemy, to defeat your enemy, to cause confusion, to cause them, to turn on themselves.
Okay, I've never heard of this before. This must be
of course you haven't.
A big piece of ammo in spiritual warfare, huh?
Yes. This is strictly spiritual warfare, and I am telling it to the nation because I want them to get involved. This is the way to release that feeling of helplessness. This is a way to direct our energy.
All right.
In a positive manner to help stop this terrorism.
Well, an hour is a long time, but not it really. Not if we can really fight our enemies. So when we come back from the break, we're going to find out more about the jumbo double action reverse candle and the ceremony performed in front of it. Rarely, if ever, maybe never, has high magic ritual been described on the air. How to do it. So I think we're about to do that. The jumbo double action reverse candle. But, Evelyn, I want to know what you spend the hour doing. Well, first of all, jump back. I want to know what, for example, you might intend this ceremony to achieve.
Well, first of all, to use it for or against terrorism. Again, as I had mentioned, you would be using a reverse oil. You would be lighting the candle and doing a visualization where you are now having power over your enemies and over evil and their intent. And what you are now seeing and visualizing in your mind's eye is that all of the intent that they are directing toward us is now going to be reversed and double actioned back to them. It's like a mirror effect, a boomerang. So we're turning it on themselves as well as empowering ourselves.
What are the likely results of this?
Well, first of all, if it's one person doing it, they're going to have, naturally depending on the amount of their focus and their attention and their discipline, a specific ratio. If you have a collective company of people doing it, the stronger it's going to become. Now, with your audience doing it, it would become quite exciting.
It could become quite exciting, yes. But, for example, getting specific here.
Yeah.
What results could it have?
Again, you would have your people in Afghanistan, those that are in their military forces or in their upper echelons,
yes,
turning on themselves.
So...
And those people others could be laying down their arms. Others would be making so much mistakes that they would be exposed. In other words, what you're doing is turning it on themselves so that they're going to get the retribution, of what they had intended to have delivered to us.
Yeah. So that might even be death.
Oh, of course. Oh, yes. What they have delivered, they shall return to them twofold.
Now, you see, you are proposing what I was really, really concerned about. I wasn't even ready to use this power, whatever in the hell it is, in a way like this. And you're saying you think that can be done safely, huh?
Yes, it can. But the first intent was to put a shield of protection around the nation. The second was to put it around each individual and their loved ones and our servicemen and women. And for those people who want to release this pent-up emotion and to strike back at this terrorist act of atrocity, this is the way to do it if they have the time, the energy, and the discipline. It's not for everyone, Art.
Evelyn, why should people believe that magic is real? People mostly believe it's not real.
I think I have to contradict that. I believe that everyone out there in every religion and culture knows and is aware of the use of magic and its reality. It has been since the beginning of time used.
Well, I'll say this. A lot of average people will scoff at it, but interestingly, for example, very Catholic sources, very high Catholic sources, very high. It would go to any religion, and at the very top, Evelyn, they seem to acknowledge its absolute reality, which is, in a way, a big shock.
Not just do they acknowledge it, they practice it. Ritual has been practiced in the Vatican.
I know, I've heard that.
And it's the truth. Father Malachi Martin told it to you, too.
I know. No, I know it's true. I know it's true.
And so, yes, it does exist.
I'm just noting
it works.
That for the average person to think about this, the ones who scoff at it, think about what I just said. At the high, right in the Vatican, if you will, and elsewhere, at the highest points of religions around the world, they know that it's true. You might not, or you might scoff at it, but they know it's true. So you ought to be giving it a little thought as possibly being a fact.
I'll tell you what went on in World War II that I know as a fact. There was a call to arms, as there is now being done, against Hitler and against his practitioners. And that call went out around the world to every practitioner, no matter what their religion or their persuasion was, in order to come to the defense of democracy. Once again, Art, this is being done. Now, my father and my grandfather were involved with that one. So I know magic, and this is a documented fact. Okay, I mean, there have been more books and articles written, especially in England, about this. So the pagans will be more than happy to stand up and admit to the fact that a call to arms was done, and is now.
Well, when you think about it, Hitler started to get pretty weird, didn't he?
Oh, yes, he had practitioners, and so do we.
Do you think that, maybe it's a silly question, but no, it isn't. Do you think the Taliban and the fanatic Islamics that are wanting us dead like this, that they are using these kinds of powers, or their version of these powers?
Absolutely.
You do?
Yes. Very much so. That's why I said the evil people that are behind Osama, who is a front man, are far more evil, have a far more hidden agenda than you can imagine. And they use ceremonial and ritualistic magic. And you're going to find this out. You're going to have other people who are going to come on this show, and they are going to tell you what they have found.
Well, they certainly have no regard for human life.
Absolutely.
Women, children, doesn't matter, does it?
No, it doesn't. The only thing that matters to them is their collection of power so that they can subjugate and enslave people, the populace. It's always been that way since the beginning of time. Good against evil, the few wanting to control the many. It hasn't changed, and they're still using the old tactics.
Do you actually think Americans could be made into slaves, virtual slaves?
No, but they can be frightened. See, we have been so compliant, that now we are vulnerable. And because the psyche is being attacked on a regular basis, we haven't been able to catch our breath. But no, we cannot. Not the spirit of this nation. It cannot be. Never happened. They will never give up. Never give in.
Yeah. So, with such a divergent culture, in other words, if you think of them as one giant microorganism and us as one, the clash is absolutely inevitable, fight to the death.
Yes, it is. And it will be. And they will use all in their command, and so will we.
How are we fixed? How are we spiritually, if this is going to be that kind of warfare? What kind of condition are we in?
Fortunately, the last 10, 15 years, the entire world has been making a shift and raising its intuition and its consciousness. That's why the other side has, let's say, put into second gear their agenda. They want to take advantage of the, let's say, windows and doors opens and opportunities that are coming naturally, and use that cycle in order to gain their ground and, of course, defeat us. But we have been gaining ground the last 10, 15 years. Our intuition, our awareness, our psyche, okay, has been heightened to such degrees. Look how many people had premonitions and dreams and prophecy that has come before September the 11th. Look at the child in Texas, a grade school boy, who said on the 10th, the next day will be World War III and it will start in the United States. How many people called me and said, Evelyn, I had so many dreams where I couldn't breathe. Yes. Other people were telling me that they were coming out of their skin or they were so depressed they wanted to hide and sleep.
Yes.
Well, that's because now you're getting in tune with nature. Now you're getting in tune with the vibrations and the forces. And so our spirituality is being heightened. And once that is ignited, Art, there is no stopping us.
Is there any way that you think the average Christian can wish or pray for someone to die, or would? Take Osama bin Laden, for example. Obviously, you wouldn't hesitate to use magic against him and his forces. You've demonstrated that already.
Yes.
But my question is, do you think a Christian generally would say they could sit down and pray for the death or downfall?
No, I feel that this is not for everyone. I felt that those people who wanted to show peace, who wanted to offer the olive branch, who wanted to, again, put a protection shield on the nation and their loved ones, absolutely. But for those people who realize that you cannot, at this time, offer an olive branch, and that you have to go with a sword in hand.
All right, is there anything else they need to know? The Jumbo Double Action Reverse Candle.
Yeah.
And the
reverse oil.
Reverse oil, and at least 1 hour of
meditation and visualization, where what they are doing is empowering themselves and our nation and our forces to overcome the enemy, to destroy the enemy from within. In other words, you're not specifically saying, I want, a specific person hurt. What you're doing is you're turning all of that corruption and destruction in on themselves. And you're seeing it happen.
But why not go for bin Laden?
Those people will. There will be others who will not. They will go for the infantry, to lay down their arms, to turn on each other, to walk away.
Okay, but you're not, that would be the softer approach, I'm sure.
Yes, it's not mine, but for those who have a qualm, it's not mine, it's not ours.
I see. So for those with some qualms about all of this, having the enemy be confused or lay down his arms or decide to defect or, whatever.
Turn on each other,
like they did, but turn on each other, I guess. But for anybody else who has the cojones to go after
the real desire to pay back for the atrocity,
then you could concentrate on making that guy sick.
Yeah. Like I said, you can enhance the opportunity.
Now, what are the chances that you will receive some kind of energy in return? If you're attacking, you can't rule out the possibility that you're going to be attacked in the same way.
Well, of course, then you put up a shield of protection, and that's why I said the white image candle, making an effigy the subject of yourself or the practitioner. Okay, using sympathetic magic, that which is in sympathy with the body, a hair, fingernail parings, article of clothing that is worn close to the body, and you put a shield of protection that is impenetrable around you, your loved ones, and your home. And then you can open up the door and go for it.
Well, I wonder how many people are at the point where they would like to try something like that, where they are ready to get into high magic and get into this kind of warfare magic. Really, can you start out that way, Evelyn, or are you not wise to jump into something that profound?
I said I would rather have those people who are disciplined, those people who are practitioners, and they have the desire. The rest, I just wanted to calm their fears, help them cope with their anxiety and their tension, and to put a shield of protection around themselves, the nation, and our forces.
So far, though there is obviously an underlying fear in the U.S., I think the American people have handled this pretty well, considering.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm very proud of them.
I've been watching very carefully. I mean, everybody else forecasts that if this kind of thing would happen, 2 big buildings in New York come down, the Pentagon's attacked, poison flowing around in our mail system, that America would collapse, that it would just fall to pieces. Guess what?
It only strengthened us.
Hasn't happened.
No, it only strengthened us. It only united us. We have a spirit here, Art, that it's invincible. And we, like I said, we are complacent. We lull ourselves. We mind our own business. But when something like this happens, you're waking up the sleeping giant.
That does seem to be happening. You've got to wonder why they didn't consider that. I mean, doing such an evil thing as was done September 11th. You would have to consider that, wouldn't you? In your planning.
No, because their agenda was to frighten us.
The kind of backlash that would create.
No, they thought that they really would, tear us apart. They thought they would frighten us and numb us and put us into such a state of trauma that we would not come back fast enough. They underestimated, but they have always underestimated America.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, only because normally we walk around not harming anyone, minding our own business. But touch us.
Pretty much.
Touch us and see what happens. We galvanize.
Well, then there is an aspect of America that has plenty of built-in violence to it.
Of course.
Yeah. So we've got some pretty nasty people out there who are probably ready to act in our behalf.
This is a long war, Art. This is not something that's going to be quick and easy. And I'm going to tell you something else. I really am worried about this. I feel, not right away, but maybe in 6 or 9 months, there is going to be a sacrificial lamb. There is going to be someone that is going to be killed, assassinated, that is going to inflame the population of that nation. And I'm really worried about it. I haven't gotten all of it yet, but I've been getting it, and I'm saying something's wrong here.
What do you think happens if we kill Bin Laden?
He becomes a martyr, and there's 37 others that'll take his place. Like I said, he's a front man. Right now, our attention is focused on him, and unfortunately not who's behind him, directing him. And I'm not just talking there, I'm talking in other nations.
How sure are you that we face another massive attack? You sound like you're really sure.
I am. It's escalating. It has to.
Do you know how soon?
My feeling is before spring.
Yeah, that's probably a safe bet. If it's coming, it's probably coming sooner than later.
Yeah. But again, you're going to have a lot of other things, as Mr. Hoagland had said, that are going to try to distract us, so that the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is really planning.
Sure. That's definitely, I believe, going on.
Well, that's why what we are doing as practitioners around the world is we are using our energy and our knowledge of the elements and the forces so that we can combat it.
The elements of nature, strong forces, right?
Yes.
Earth, wind,
air, fire, as well as other things, beings, entities. I can, Art, show you and your own audience, because you've already done your experiments, that with 5 names of power that I would utter, you in the audience would feel the energy and the power of it. It would be transmitted.
You want to name them when we get back?
Sure.
All right. Good. Hold on. 5 names of power. The mere utterance of which, I don't know. This is pretty serious stuff. This is high magic on a national scale. I didn't think I was ready to talk about this. And I'm Art Bell. Good morning. Every now and then a computer should be shot. There's a lot of satisfaction in that, actually. And they make great target practice. After all, it has frustrated you for weeks, months, even years, right? So when you're done with it, take it out, and before otherwise safely disposing of it, shoot it. You'll feel better. Listen, don't forget, on my website right now, you don't want to miss this. Trust me on this, you don't want to miss it. Go to artbell.com, go to What's New, Bin Laden Has Nowhere to Run. Click on that, and then wait the appropriate time. There'll be a little wait for you to download it, but it's worth it. Your family, your friends will absolutely love it. Okay, we're talking about witchcraft, and I have to tell you this personally, because I know this to be true. I have seen witchcraft work. It works. Now, I suppose you can say many things about it, and you can believe that the power comes from a place that ought not be tapped, but, I've seen it work, and what else is there to say? I have seen it work. Of course, it's worth asking about the power, and we will do that. In fact, let's ask about 5 names of power. Here's Dr. Paglini once again. Doctor?
Hi.
Hi.
The 5 names of power that I am going to string together, I'm going to first just say the names. Then, if you would allow, I am going to call the names. If your audience would take a nice deep breath and relax, when I do the calling of the 5 names of power,
yes,
they will feel an energy. They will feel their body revitalizing and rejuvenating.
All right, everybody who doesn't want revitalizing energy, turn off your radios now. All right, they're gone. Okay, go ahead.
Now, words of power, names. Astroth, Belial, Binah, Tetragrammaton. I'm only going to give this 4.
Okay.
All right now. Now take a deep breath.
Okay.
Asmodeus, Astroth, Belial, Binah, Tetragrammaton. I call upon thee to bear witness for what I am about to do.
Oh, that worked. I actually did feel something. That actually worked. Either that or it was suggestive. I can't know, but yes, I felt it. I felt it.
It will build, and the longer it is sounded, the vibration, you are calling down a cone of power.
That was
You are
kind of
calling
neat.
down forces.
It was kind of neat, Evelyn. I felt that.
Now, your random number generator.
Yes.
That has proven that if you have the collective consciousness of mind directed like a laser beam, can affect change. Now add the powers and the elements and the forces and the energies of what I just exposed you to.
Mm-hmm.
And now I explain to you why I said a mighty tool.
Yeah, all right. I want to talk about the power a little bit.
Let's do it.
Because this is where all the arguments come from. All the people who are going to write me nasty emails and write you nasty emails are going to talk about where the power comes from. And that, I really did feel that. Anyway, they're going to talk about it being evil, or they're going to think that it's evil. And anything that doesn't come with verses from the Bible and or Christian song or prayer is evil. And they certainly believe that, and I don't know that they ought not believe that. I mean,
they're certainly entitled to that belief.
So talk to me about the power. Where does this power come from?
Power comes from the source that created us all, which we call God. It is the manifestation and then the direction of that manifestation that you, human beings, must take responsibility for and stay in balance.
Okay.
It's neutral.
Okay, but the Bible does not say that you can call upon power in the manner that you just did.
Oh, yes, it does.
It does?
Yes. In Christianity, you have called upon the powers of the saints, St. Michael the Archangel.
Yes.
Okay, in order to defeat that which is evil. That is calling upon a power. That is calling upon a force. That is calling upon a name. There are many entities, beings, energies, and forces that when you use their sigils, their seals,
yes,
their names of power. When you put them or string them together in a certain configuration, then you are unleashing the natural power that God has put into the universe, and you, as the practitioner, are the director. But you must take responsibility and stay in balance.
Maybe it's all in the names then.
Yes. That's why I said when we made the call to arms across the world, it was from the American medicine man to the kahuna, from the voodoo priest to Santa Teresa, from the Wiccan, to the Strega.
All right. How about this then?
The practitioner.
How about this then? When people call on the name of God to fulfill their prayer or whatever purpose is powerful, God, what about people who call on the opposite force directly? I mean, the big guy down there.
Mm-hmm. They too are going to get an answer, a response. They too will be given knowledge and a tool to use. Of course, knowledge is neutral. The tempter, the devil, is the one that says, I can give you this, and now you can have power over others.
Uh-huh.
Where in the light, it says, I can give you this knowledge, and you can help save others. Your choice. Knowledge is knowledge.
Yeah, it always is your choice, right? Free will.
Always.
That old free will thing, yeah.
And that is why we must keep our spirit.
But you do acknowledge, though, that those who call on the other guy can get power.
Absolutely. That's why I fight fire with fire. I was trained as a spiritual warrior to fight the dark forces. So I have been taught their game. I use what they use against them.
How, in your life, Evelyn, how often are you using the craft? I mean, is it a constant thing with you?
Constant. It's constant.
It is?
Yeah, there's some form of the craft being used
all
every moment of the day.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, I live and I breathe it. I mean, it is. It's a way of life.
Has it ever failed you?
No. I have failed it.
So any failure to have something occur, you would blame on yourself, not the craft.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Always me.
That really sounds an awful lot like what a Christian would say, many times.
Again, I have to take responsibility. I'm not the Wizard of Oz. I'm one in training. I don't know it all. I've made mistakes, and I am human, and so there are times I have made mistakes. I have used the power unwisely, and I paid very dearly. That's why I constantly, Art, share my knowledge with everyone I can to give them the tools to change their life and to make their life better.
Can you remember one of your bigger failures?
When in my youth, again, it's very difficult when someone touches a member of your family. It's like, I can take anything you throw at me, but don't touch one of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was young, and I struck back immediately without thinking. And unfortunately, I did a very good job. And so that was my failure. It was not the power that failed me. It was me out of balance and me having to learn a lesson very young, and it certainly taught me one. I will not use my power against someone who cannot defend themselves. I want an equal.
I'm kind of curious what you did to them.
Well,
don't want to talk about it.
Don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Let's just say that they certainly paid very, very dearly. And unfortunately, first, I took every person around them, and then them. I made them watch.
Oh, you were angry. You were really angry.
I'm sorry you don't go after one of mine. You opened up the door. They were an occultist.
Uh-huh.
Okay? They opened up the door. They got more than they bargained for.
Did you remember to protect yourself?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, but after I got done, I chastised myself for losing my composure and for using so much force against them. I could have been a little bit less violent.
Well, that's what I worry about in applications of these experiments that I've been doing.
Well, that's why you bind down the action not wanted, or if you are worried about using a negative, then what you use is strictly a positive, by putting a shield around the nation, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. But even positives can have unintended consequences, and you've got to sit down and think of all the consequences first, and it's just not possible, because we all know Rod Serling's out there somewhere just waiting for you. You know, with one of the consequences that you just happen to forget, the small print.
No, if you set your mind in such a manner that everything that you are expecting as an outcome is of a benefit for mankind, for humankind, that there is no negative response, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get that which is going to unfold in a positive manner that will help and increase mankind. It's being specific. It's saying the words very specifically, and then in the mind's eye, seeing it happening. What is above becomes below. What your mind conceives, you can bring into the physical plane of existence.
How many people do you think in America have studied as you are now studying and have for all your life? How many people are actually actively in the craft?
Those that have been in it from birth, that have a heritage, I would venture to say maybe in a minimum, you may only have several thousand. Okay, but those who are practitioners of the craft that stretch from culture to culture, yes, you're talking millions.
Is it popularizing in America now, or is it fading?
No, it's popularizing. People are getting more into nature and the elements, more in tune with their psyche, only because they're having experiences, and they're trying to find out, all right, what is this? They are able to perceive, like the shadow people.
Yes.
Okay? Like those people who are being able to communicate with spirits. All of this is coming to the forefront, and people are investigating it because they're saying, it's happening to me. It's happening to my child. Right before my eyes. And so therefore, yes, they're having more tolerance, they're gaining understanding, and now they want to know, how can I use it, okay, to benefit, again, myself, my family, my loved ones, and mankind. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to share the knowledge. I'm trying to say it's not something that's evil. It's not something that comes from down below. Get that out of your mind. See, that's been impregnated in your mind to keep you away from a tool and a power that you can use to benefit yourself. All you have to remember is to stay into balance. I'm not teaching you to go out there and do something against your neighbor. I'm doing something to give you an opportunity to help yourself, to improve your career, to attract a love and romance, to put a shield of protection around you from negativity.
Now, I like the idea of being able to attract somebody of the opposite sex just with a little spell.
You can.
You can.
Red image candle, male or female, attraction oil.
Yeah.
And you know what? Don't concentrate on the height and the weight of the person. Concentrate on the attributes, the qualities that you want in that person. Humor, honesty, trustworthiness, understanding.
Big headlights.
Whatever. And you'll get it. You will attract to you. You will magnetize to
category
you.
Of attribute. So that's real.
Yes.
It's real. Can it go too far in the movie The Craft? You remember it went too far, and the fellow got attracted to the girl, and she couldn't get rid of him.
Yes, very definitely. Always when you're going to be doing a ritual, you have to make sure that you want the person, because it can come to a point where you are attached to this person, you can't get rid of them.
Okay, well, getting serious for a second. If you cause through a spell to have somebody fall in love with you, are you not always going to be in doubt about the nature of the love that you are experiencing, that it is not real, that it
Absolutely, and I don't recommend ever doing a spell.
That it's not given voluntarily.
Yeah, no. What you're doing is, you're attracting someone into your life. Now you have met the person, you say, you know what, I'd like to enhance this relationship. Okay, now what you're going to do is do an enhancement. In other words, you are not forcing someone to fall in love. What you are doing is enhancing what is already there.
But you would say, wouldn't you, that you could take somebody who, for example, you're very interested in, and they're not interested in you, and they're just not. So there's not much there to enhance, but you could still cause it to happen, right?
Oh, yes, you can, and there are those people, honey, who will live with that fear that, yes, they've used a spell, and I don't know why that male or female is really there, but they're willing to pay the price to get the person. And so they'll use the magic that way. Yes, and it can work. Yep.
And it can kind of boomerang.
Yes, it can.
Because then you've got to live with that, assuming you get what, it's under the category of be careful what you wish for.
That's right.
Somebody, ill-gotten goods, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Always a price to be paid when you use it wrongly.
Always a price to be paid.
Yeah.
Listen, I know that you've got a service, and you provide candles and incense and oils and all kinds of things relating to magic from the bottom to the top, right?
Yes, I do.
How do people get in touch with you to find out what you've got, I guess?
All right. The phone number is 818-783-2995.
818-783-2995, right?
Yes. And, of course, we have a link to Mystical Blend on your website.
Right, your website, Mystical Blend.
And then there is QEP@MSN.com.
That is your
email.
Say it again.
QEP. @MSN.com.
What does that stand for?
Question, Evelyn Paglini.
Oh. QEP@MSN.com.
Right.
So people can send you email.
Yes, and for those who still do feel they can write.
All right, well, if it's an address, hold on to it, all right?
All right.
We'll get it on the other side of the break here.
Okay.
All right, I'll repeat that email address as well. My guest is Evelyn Paglini, and we're about to go to the phones. Once again, Dr. Evelyn Paglini, and we were going to give out an address, I think, for people to write, if they want to write.
Yes, it's Paglini, Paglini, at P.O. Box 57932, Sherman Oaks, California, 91413.
91413. Paglini, P.O. Box 57932, Sherman Oaks, California, 91413. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, but the phone number which most people will use
is 818-783-2995.
or QEP at
MSN.com.
That's QEP as in question, Evelyn Paglini. Pretty cute. Pretty cute. All right, I want to go to the phone lines. In the past, we've never had enough calls. I've always hogged you. So I want to take some calls. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's see what's out there. And it could be anything. First-time caller line, you're on the air with Evelyn Paglini. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
Is it okay if I call you Artie?
No.
All right. Art, Dr. Evelyn, how are you?
Fine, sir.
I have a quick question. Actually, two questions. I'll make it quick. I had an ex-employer threaten myself and my family, kind of similar to your story earlier. And my initial gut reaction was to, inflict threats on them as well. And actually, I am very, very frightened by the threats. However, I don't want anything to bad come to them. I just basically want them to leave us alone.
Mm-hmm.
What would you suggest?
Pink candle, peace, love, and harmony. In other words, what you can do is you can send them peace and love and understanding and have harmony in the relationship. If you want them to move away, then there is another ritual where you can send them to find something better in life, a new opportunity, a better business, a bigger home. And so this way what you are doing is removing the influence, and yet you are sending them no evil, no negativity, and no harm. You are only enhancing their life.
You're bumping them upstairs.
Yep. Out of your influence and out of your space.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a pink candle of harmony.
Yeah, it's a pink candle using peace, love, and harmony oil.
Okay.
Okay, consecrating it in the person's first and last name. If you can visualize that person in your mind's eye, it would be imitative. If you can get something of theirs, then you would have sympathetic going for you, and that two connections would make it even stronger.
Okay, and I guess my second question is, do you smoke the filtered or non-filtered camels?
Do I what?
Do you smoke the filtered or non-filtered camels?
He's thinking that your voice has a husky sound.
No, I don't smoke camels.
Oh, okay. I was just checking.
Yeah.
All right. Just answering, sir.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Evelyn.
Thank you.
Ciao. Wildcard line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Bell?
That's true.
This is Joe. I'm calling you from East Los Angeles. I'm only 20 minutes away. How you doing, ma'am? How are you?
Fine, sir.
I have a question. My question is concerning the fifth column among us, the Al-Qaeda network in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. The Al-Qaeda, a large numbers of them were from Saudi Arabia. They practice a religion called Mohammedanism. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Can you help me? I think it's Mohammedanism.
Yeah, Mohammedanism.
Okay. Now, there's a mosque in L.A., okay, King Fahd Mosque in Culver City, sponsored by the family in Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I want to know is, could we use, a divining rod to weed these people out? I mean, how would you identify them? How would you weed them out? How could they, because you say there's a protection for the nation, but I think they're already inside. How could we identify, isolate?
Well, what you would do is a black image candle, and if most of the congregation is male, then that would be the gender that you would use. And what you would be doing is causing exposure. In other words, confusion and exposure will give them away.
No, but
so therefore you would be able to weed them out.
If you want to identify them, how would you do that?
That's what
that's how I'm telling you, that they have to cause them to be exposed, to make a mistake, to do something wrong, to cause attention to themselves.
In front of you, like if I stand in front of the mosque.
Yeah, either in front of you or by their actions. You don't care how and when it happens as long as they're exposed, as long as they're rooted out.
Do you have any ideas how this would happen? Would they trip, fall in front of you, or?
Oh yeah. In other words, what would be the real world probability results? What's the range of things that would happen?
Okay, if you want it to happen in front of you, then what you can do is heighten your sensitivity. Your skin can become, like a radar. And when you are in their presence, you would have your hair stand on end. You would be given, let's say, in your chi force, in your gut area, a feeling or a pain, not discomfort. And that would, let's say, make you alert or put you on attention. But if you were just wanting to expose those people who may be within this country that are plotting and planning against the nation, then what you would be doing is a general exposure, so that what they would do is make mistakes and be caught.
That's good. I like that one. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello.
Good evening, Art, and Merry Meet, Evelyn.
Merry Meet.
I wanted to get your opinion on something. I would say about 4 to 5 years ago, I was kind of what you would say spiritually numb. I wasn't interested in spirituality. I wasn't on any kind of quest. Certain things did happen, but at this time I was being this studious college student and skeptical, and I guess you could say lately I've been, the past 4 years, there's just been so much happening, and finally my family let me in on some stuff. But my question is, I get this feeling that there's a lot of us that have all been here together at some other place before, and that somehow we reincarnated and we're here to serve that purpose that we knew that was going to be coming about. I guess basically what I'm asking is,
You're right on, honey. A very good question. There have been so many people that have been reincarnated in this time slot in order to not only experience, but to help in the transformation of society and its evolution of the soul.
There have been quite a few people incarnated in my time slot, too. That was a joke.
Okay.
Well, we've all been here before, huh?
Yes, and we have chosen to be here now at this time.
Well, here's something that bothers me, Evelyn. I think it feels right. We've all been here before. And maybe we're just victims of knowing history. But in a lot of ways, even though the issues may be different, they're not that different. And here we are at war again.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's trying to say it's not about religion. It kind of is, frankly. In other words, same old, same old.
Good against
history
people.
Repeating itself, all killing in the name of our God, and so forth and so on. I'm not in any way suggesting that we shouldn't be out there doing this because we have to. I'm just saying that I wonder if it's ever going to change.
Yes, it is. Because each time the soul has an opportunity to gain ground, to become one with all things and to become one with the God force. And therefore, those who will return because they choose to walk among us as masters to help other souls complete that evolutionary cycle.
But where's the change happening? I mean, still we want to enslave, we want to kill, we want to conquer. I mean, that just hasn't changed.
Because while we are here manifesting in the physical plane of existence, that is our purpose, to make the choice to either fight for democracy and freedom or for enslavement.
Yeah, that's the choice, all right. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello. No, I didn't push the button. West of the Rockies, now you're on the air. Hi.
Hello. I'm Catchy John KGA in Spokane, and if I want an 18-minute delay, I go down to KFI in Los Angeles and pick you up. I get both of them. A quick comment on the visualization with the super candle, actually.
Yes.
You might use a punch bowl and set it in a punch bowl and sprinkle some water. Water is a very, very good factor in these things.
Well, of course, it's the element of water.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And carry your intent upon the water, but what is even nicer is when you use the element of air, which you can use with smoke or incense, and you can send and focus your intent using the element of air. See, when you call in the elements, darling, you can use them to enhance any ritual.
Yes.
Now you're magnifying the forces and the energies.
Hey, caller, can I ask you a question?
Please.
And then you can continue. When she called those names out earlier, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Did you feel anything?
Yes, in fact, I'm familiar with them.
Okay.
My mother and father had a congregation going in my living room when I was born, and basically I've been touched since I was before I was born, but in the flesh since I was 10 years old, and I've been studying for well over 35 years. And I was wondering, without much of an autobiography thing here, you had mentioned, Dr. Evelyn, that you're having trouble finding equals. I believe that, and I really sympathize with you.
Well, it's just, I won't go after anyone unless I can sharpen my claws and they at least are going to give me a fight. I will not go after someone who does not have the same power. I will not go after an innocent. I can't. I'll defend an innocent against anyone who's using their power against an innocent. Oh, let me hear about it.
Oh, bless your heart.
Okay, because then I will show them
bless your
what
heart.
magic is really all about.
Yes.
I have no qualms.
Well, that's part of the reincarnation thing in our choice. I think that it's the most powerful that choose to be here at this time.
My father told me I came in with a sword in my hand.
Yeah, I think you did. As I listen to you, I think that's right. First time caller line, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello.
Yeah, I was wondering what backgrounds are your teachings from?
Genesian. I am Strega. I'm a Tuscany witch. It's one of the most ancient religions on the planet, long before the Druids and the Celtics of Northern Europe. Southern Europe had its own traditions, and one of them was the Strega. And I am very proud of the heritage that I have.
Is there anything in that background relevant to Sirius?
Yes.
Okay, you know it's the dog star?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you have any idea what the relation between Sirius and the occult is?
There is a lot to do with it. There is
a higher intelligence?
Manifestations and occupations of this planet. We have had DNA tampering by extraterrestrials, and we are now finding out that we have been on this planet, that history will have to be pushed back a minimum of 575,000 years. And you are going to find that one of the people, extraterrestrials, came from the dog star.
All right, that's what I wanted to hear. That's what I had assumed in a way.
Really?
Yeah, been doing a lot of reading into the occult and Crowleyan magic and things like that.
Yeah, get into Mathers and Agrippa and Crowley.
Yeah.
And then get into Rigardi.
Yeah, Israel Rigardi.
Yep.
Yeah, they have a lot.
Now you're talking high magic, honey. Now you're talking ritualistic and ceremonial magic.
Yeah, there's a lot of underlying symbolism in the sentences. Like there can be 6 meanings in one sentence when you can only pick out one, and there's a lot of it. I keep picking up things that have to do with Sirius and the Dog Star and Silver Star. Mm-hmm. The occult, that was AA. I don't know the name of it, but it's one of the Crowleyan ones, and the letter was AA.
Yeah, well, that was because Crowley left the Order of the Golden Dawn and started his own AA.
Yeah, and the AA, and if you translate it in English, says Silver Star, which is also Dog Star, Sirius.
That's right.
I've just been reading a lot of books and getting into it. After coincidence and synchronicity actually has been coming up a lot now.
Anytime you delve into magic, synchronicity comes into play. You will find books, you will be introduced to people, you will be guided. That is what magic does. It attracts those people who can enhance you.
Well, you're both way over my head with this, and I'm comfortable with that. All right. Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Right, take care. Obviously, he knew what he was talking about, and you knew what he was talking about.
Yes. This is the old ways. This is the old traditions.
Okay. Wildcard line, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello. Hello?
Hello, yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, Art. My question is this, or let me tell you a little background first.
What is your first, sir? What is your first name?
Cliff. And I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
All right.
Yes, Miss Evelyn. I was molested as a child, then I was abandoned, and then I've been married. I'm married now, but the hardest thing I've ever faced was my little boy passed away, and sometimes I think I grew up in South Louisiana, and maybe there's been something's been put upon me that my question is this possible without you knowing? And could a lot of these things happen because of this? Or my main thing is over my little boy. But
well, first of all, if you've been in a negative cycle for an immense amount of time, meaning many, many, many years, then I would suggest that you do a cleansing. A cleansing will remove all negativity, whether it has been sent to you or whether you have been accumulating a negative cycle that is now feeding on itself. Once you do a cleansing, then you put a shield of protection on you so that this way, if there is someone who has intent to do you harm, it will not penetrate.
So, Evelyn, you can really, if you've just had what you're going to call a string of really, really bad luck, you can assume some force is at work and go after and cure it generally, right?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, hold on. We're at the top of the hour from the high desert, and Evelyn Paglini is here. And here we go once again, Dr. Evelyn Paglini. Evelyn, welcome back.
Thank you. Welcome back, yes.
Okay, here we go. Lots of people. First-time caller line, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, my name is Nikki, and I just had a comment. Well, I have two, but like the Thursday before the bombings, I was at like a prayer meeting at my church, and so we were praying, and somebody's like, there's a real heaviness here, and we couldn't figure out what it was, you know, so we just kind of let it go because everybody's like, you know, I'm doing fine, whatever. And then, so the bombing happens that next Tuesday. So we're back in prayer Thursday, and we figured out that that's what it was. That's what the heaviness was. You know, and before that, like that Tuesday, I had been having I had a real upset stomach, you know, and I thought, well, maybe I'm pregnant again. But after the bombing, it went away, you know, and then. Are
you happy about that?
Oh, yeah. But I mean, there is a power. I believe it's God, because another time I was at a prayer meeting, like a retreat, and me and my husband, we've been married for like 5 years then, and we had been trying to get pregnant for like the first 4 years. And so the woman asked, you know, anybody that's trying to get pregnant, come up. You know, you're going to supernaturally get pregnant. And I was like, okay, because I'd never done anything like that before. So I went up, and a week later, like about 2 weeks later, I was pregnant.
These would be Christian fertility rites, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Evelyn, what about in the craft? If somebody wanted to get pregnant, really wanted to be preggers, what do they do?
Okay, first of all, they can put out the call by using a white image candle for the spirit or the soul of the child. Next, they can put the color of either lavender, lilac, purple, or orchid. That will, again, bring in the spirit to the body.
Okay. So
does the wearing of, the concentrating on, and the use of a white image candle, your visualization, and the wearing of the color.
That and a white negligee.
Or lavender.
Wildcard line, you're on the air with Dr. Evelyn Paglini. Hello.
Or a black negligee. Anyway,
there you go.
I'm sorry. Good morning. Evelyn, I have two questions. A caller called a little while ago, and you were discussing the dog star with him. I was wondering if you could kind of bring it down to maybe my mundane level. I didn't understand the whole thing. Could you tell us what the importance and the meaning of it is? And my second question is, this September 11th tragedy, do you think that there was something more about it? Because we hear about this, people going through these strange emotions, and a lot of people are saying, well, that's just post-traumatic stress disorder. It's very normal. Do you think that that attack was something much, much more than that? And have we entered in to what maybe some people call the quickening or the tribulation? Is this the final act? How far do you think these events will lead?
All right.
Well, first of all, as far as how far the events will lead, there is going to be an escalation. Was this intention in order to traumatize? Absolutely. They want to traumatize the psyche, the human psyche of this nation.
It has done that.
And what they want to do is to, like I said, instill confusion, fear, and to make us be afraid to continue our normalcy. And there is a very definite agenda. And like I said, they've escalated the agenda only to coincide with that which is happening that is part of the quickening, the transformation that we are going through as a population. And as far as the dog star Sirius...
Yeah, I didn't get much of that.
Okay, there have been many colonizations of this planet. And in the colonizations of this planet, there has been alterations of the DNA. One such colonization came from the dog star Sirius. And there are many practitioners of the craft that follow their ceremonial traditions. Now, there are others, that also have come and they too. In other words, in your Bible it states the sons of God, looking down upon the daughters of man, found them fair, commingled and copulated with them, and born unto them was the Nephilim race, the men of old, the men of renown.
That's right.
So what they are saying to you is many times the sons of God have come down and impregnated that which was evolving upon earth. And from that we have acquired, what we call today Homo erectus, or humankind. But we have the spark of the divine within us. And that spark of the divine is that which is from ancient civilizations that came from other planets and other star systems, one of which is the dog star.
So we're kind of a mixed breed.
We sure are. And the lineage of certain societies, remember when we were talking about secret societies and their agendas, and why gold is the metal of the gods and blood is the nectar. They have called upon certain demons, certain entities and beings in order for them to gain power, in order to control or subjugate people.
I officially deny even the existence of one secret society.
There are many. There are so many.
East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello.
Hello. This is James calling from Florence, Alabama. Listen to you on WBCF 1240.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I've got two quick questions. First of all, for the past 2 or 3 years, I've been unable to hold a steady job for more than anywhere from 3 to 6 months.
Your fault or theirs?
Theirs. Because to my knowledge, there is nothing that I have done to, cause this to happen.
Yeah.
Also, second question is...
Well, that wasn't exactly...
Okay, well...
Was that a question? Are you asking why
what
that is happening?
What can I do to ensure that this will stop happening?
Okay.
Okay, once again, I'm going to repeat it. If I'm in a negative cycle, I'm going to do a cleansing.
Okay.
Once I do that, I can do an attraction for prosperity and better business.
Okay.
But you cannot attract something to you if you've already got a built-up negative cycle.
Okay.
And the best thing to do, honey, when you've got a black image candle and you're going to use a visualization technique, visualize like you fell into mud and it's all baked and caked on you, and that's going to represent the negativity. And as the candle burns, it's all starting to like flake off and ooze off and fall off until you're baby clean and baby smooth.
Okay.
Now, once you're done with that candle, then get a white image candle and put a shield of protection on you that is impenetrable.
And then go get a job.
And then, then you do an attraction ritual for prosperity.
Okay. It'll bring it to you?
Oh, absolutely.
I see. Well, wait for your offers then at that point.
Okay. Okay, the second quick one. In December, I'm going to be involved in a custody battle. And I want to know if there's anything or what I need to do to ensure the outcome of this will be what we're wanting.
All right. First of all, there is a spell or a ritual that is called like legal injustice.
Okay.
And what you could get is a justice oil, a success oil, a confusion oil, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
What you're going to have is, let's say, a green male image candle to give you and your attorney success.
Okay.
A black image candle that you are going to use for confusion, for the opposition.
Okay.
And then a pink image candle to represent the judge who's in the position of authority, who's going to hand down, and that you use justice oil.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Now, understand it is a meditation ritual. It's going to take you probably about 5 or 6 days to doing it about a half an hour to 45 minutes a day.
It's worth a try. Try it and let me know, will you?
I sure will.
All right, sir. Take care. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello. Hello? Oh, damn that button. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Third time's a charm. Yes, Dr. Paglini.
Yes.
I've been raised in a Christian fundamental background, and I will say that the Bible stories, especially from the Old Testament, have in recent years taken on new meaning for me. And I think, I don't know, it seems like there's a lot that they don't tell us in our basic fundamental faith when you look back in the Old Testament about Joshua marching around Jericho and it falling, and Daniel in the lion's den and different things, there were all these interventions that were done. And Christ even had, in the New Testament, had his miracles. And it does teach us many things that you've talked about, like we're in a battle against principalities and spirits, and it teaches us how to two and more, to pray together is good. And I've learned to pray to bind the enemy and use oil.
Excellent.
And these are all, but these are kind of like almost, some people in some of the fundamental groups kind of think of it as heresy. And I'm open-minded, and I believe it all works together. My main question and my curiosity is, why do you feel you have to use candles and certain oils? I mean, I believe in putting like olive oil around and things like that, but to go through the ritual of a candle that's a certain color.
That's a really good question. Yeah, why? What is the meaning of candles that are certain colors and the oils and all of the trappings that seem to go with this, Evelyn? Why do those help? Why are those part of it?
Okay, first of all, everything has an energy and a vibration and a force.
Right.
Color, especially, has a vibration. Now, when you're going to tap into, let's just say, the color of red, all right, which is the strongest vibration in color, you can use color of red to empower, to energize, to quicken something. But you can also use red for passion, to stimulate the libido, okay, to increase vitality, because the vibration is one of so much strength. That's why they say be careful not to put red in the bedroom. Or too much red in the home, because you'll have anxiety, you'll have fighting, and you'll have arguing.
Well, that's interesting, because everybody knows if you're in a fast red car, or just a red car that looks fast, even if it's not going fast, you're going to get stopped. You're going to be a prime suspect for every cop. You're going to be a total cop magnet. Red does that.
Right, and if you go into any fast food restaurant, you'll notice that the color is red. So the reason why you're going to use other tools, like the vibration of color, you're going to use herbs, okay, that also have their vibration and their purpose.
Sure.
Then you're going to call in the elements of air, fire, earth, and water. All of those are tools to assist you in manifesting or bringing into the physical plane that which you desire. So it's an assistant.
All right. That's a good square answer to the question. First time caller line, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello.
Hi, Art. Hi, Doctor.
Hi.
Yeah, very interesting that some of these things you were mentioning today, some just click with me as far as what you were just discussing as far as genetical engineering. A few thousand years back, actually a little bit more than a few thousand years back, but what I wanted to suggest and mention as far as that you might have familiarity with, because I was planning on calling Art tomorrow, is this problem that we have had out from these fellows out in the East, and as far as the spiritual aspects, as far as their worshiping of their deity and their effectiveness of their methods of how they went about doing what they did. And what I wanted to say was that not only them, and I believe that they had some empowerment by doing so, but I think there might have been some other people that are not part of their group, but are within America, that are very, very well familiar with the elements and tapped into them and assisted them and had a very nice formula and went about doing this.
I will have to agree that there are some individuals across the world, as well as here in this nation, for their own gain, would join in this agenda. Yes.
Well, reason why I mention is I believe that I might know of certain particulars or groups that might have done so to, or what would you say, make a point. And as far as this is quite a shame that they would have done so. Not too long ago, and I fairly often have contact with people that are in opposition with major deities, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I do.
Yes, and I believe I've had confrontations with these people almost face-to-face on a couple of different occasions, all due to my familiarity with aspects of spirituality and religion. And as far as it's quite a shame if they did have any particular action in as far as being in part of this, and
they will lend their energy, they will lend their knowledge.
Exactly.
Okay, in order to support, because of their own greed and their own agenda. Yes, it is a shame.
Yes, and as far as I don't know if they would be up to this again, but this is really a sad thing. As far as I hope that they would not do it again. I've tried to be suggestive with these people and try to be within reason. And as far as I really don't know what to say or do otherwise.
Their intent cannot be reasoned with, honey, not with that intent.
Yeah.
What you have to do is you have to bring them down, you have to expose them. And if you cannot do it one way, you can always do it magically.
Wildcard line, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello.
I have a quick question for you, Art, and then one for Evelyn. And by the way, that caller, if you know something that to be reported to the FBI, should go ahead and do it.
Of
Absolutely.
Course. Yeah, of course.
But for you, it's 2.5 weeks or 2.5 to 3 weeks, something like that, to Veterans Day, Art. And the last time I talked to you, you were going to and made a commitment to interview to uncover the cover-up of our government as regards the USS Liberty, which, as you know, now we're really into the awakening period of the Middle East. So I still think that to interview the survivors would be great. They did send you information.
I did do one years ago, and I talked to several survivors, and I would be willing to do it again.
Oh, okay. Well, it might be the time when people are thinking about it on Veterans Day. And I do know that you did receive from some of the veterans some information last April, May. And anyhow, my question to you, Evelyn, is about the forces that you called on. You called 4 out of 5 that you knew about.
No, I called 4 and then put the 5th one when I made the call.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, here's the ones that I know about.
Because I would not have used the 5th one unless I had pulled the call in.
Oh, okay. I couldn't get all the names, but I did get one name very clearly, or I got 2 names, one of them quite clearly, and that's the one Belial. So then I decided I'll look this up in the dictionary because I remember from Edgar Cayce, the sons of Belial were the bad guys, and lo and behold, it says the biblical name of the devil or one of his fiends, one of the fallen angels in Milton's Paradise Lost. And I thought, oh dear, I'm not sure if I want that one. And then the other one was Astarte, I think you called on, who is the Phoenician goddess of fertility and sexual love. And I thought, well, that's all great, but, I mean, we're trying to fight for our country.
No, what I did is I took...
Listen, I want to hear this myself. Can the both of you hold on?
Sure.
All right, we're at the bottom of the hour. All I know is this. I really did feel something. That was amazing. I really did feel something. Now, I had either set myself up psychologically to feel something, or it was real, but it sure felt real. I really did feel something. How about some of the rest of you? I'm sure I'll get mail on this. From the high desert? You know, remember, tomorrow night it's going to be open lines all night long, and the question is going to be but one, and it is a challenge to all of you out there to think way outside of the box. How do we win this war? If we come up with wacky ideas, maybe one of them will not be so wacky. You will, however, hear a large percentage of wacky ideas. Don't let that bother you. In fact, don't not contribute because you think your idea might be thought of as wacky, because it might be the one idea that will work. In the meantime, back to Dr. Paglini. Doctor?
Yes.
Once again, let's give out your phone number. It's 818-783-2995. 818-783-2995, and that is answered roughly when?
Usually between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m.
Okay.
Pacific Coast time.
All right. And do you have, a catalog of
Yes,
stuff?
I have a free catalog. If anybody would send $1, I will send out my how-to catalog.
Okay, and that includes...
And also the 30% off. I really mean this. Anybody that's going to be into putting a shield of protection around the nation or their family or their loved ones, anything that has to do with protection, I will give them 30% off.
Gotcha. All right. Young lady, you're back on the air with Dr. Paglini.
Yes. Well, it was about Belial and Astarte, and I don't know the names of the other ones that you called upon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm familiar with the elements of fire, wind, water, and so on, but this I was less familiar with, and maybe you could help with. Does Belial mean you're calling on some sort of...
Okay, first of all, you're calling upon a name of power, and I wanted the audience to be able to see, feel that power, and allow the energy to revitalize and to rejuvenate. So what I did is I called on the names of power and used their aspect of power to direct it so that you, the audience, could feel it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was used for. That's why I said take a deep breath, relax, and allow yourself to feel the power and let it revitalize and rejuvenate your body.
Did you feel it, caller?
No, but I thought, gee, I don't know. I think I was one of the, my mental things were going. I think I was one of the sons of the laws of one back in the Atlantean time when Edgar Cayce was talking about that there'd been a terrible battle between the sons of the law of one and the sons of Belial. The sons of Belial won out.
Law of God and the sons of the law of righteousness. Okay, the old name of Belial is used only for those people who want to attract the power. It has nothing to do with evil. Remember, power is neutral. It is you, the director, the practitioner, who decides if that power is going to be used for a negative or a positive. In this instance, I showed you just about the calling down the power and then directed it in a positive force.
Well, apparently, in those days, it was sort of like they had a harp type of a situation, just like we're facing today all over again. It's like it's deja vu all over again.
Yes.
And we apparently misused the power, a crystal or a power in some way, and reversed the poles and all kinds of funny stuff. And we are, now facing this thing all over again. And I'm just also concerned that when we are in this business certainly I don't care for Trash Bin and what he did, but on the other hand, we do need to pursue a even-handed policy towards the Palestinians versus the Israelis. We've been, if we're supposed to be a neutral nation, that is, so we don't get the enmity of one side over another. And so I'm just a truth seeker out here trying to just balance things properly.
And that's the way to balance it. When you're doing your visualization, you are only sending the negativity out to that individual or individuals who have their intent focused on us.
Yes.
We're not hitting innocent people.
Yeah. No, I mean...
We're after evil. Only evil.
Right. I agree about that. I'm bothered in another way, too, that our tax money has gone out for guns and bullets to do really bad stuff to a segment of society that they've been treated like dogs for years.
All right, I think we've got your message, which is fully political, and that's
but magic, art, you see, we don't use bullets.
Yeah, but they arrive.
And the innocent are not affected.
Except they can arrive the same way, depending on how they're sent. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Hi.
How you doing tonight?
Fine.
I'm a constant listener of you. I'm calling from Waukesha, Wisconsin. Listen to WU on WISN.
Yes, sir.
What I had a question for you, Dr. Paglini, is I'm a gentleman that has gone through very bad relationships in my life. And I was with an ex-wife that actually beat on me and treated me terrible. And a lot of other women that treated me bad, too. And I'm just trying to figure out a way I can bring the one that is the woman in my life to bring me happiness and goodness into my life from now on, instead of being with somebody, different women with this negativity around me, that, somebody positive in my life. And I'm trying to think how I could do it.
I had mentioned earlier to concentrate on the attributes and the qualities of the individual that you want to attract to you. most people will say, I want a specific height, weight, coloring, and they forget to come from the soul and the heart. So what you are attracting and manifesting is that which you are fearing. You're constantly
a lot of people do
in a
that,
loop.
don't they? A lot of people do that. They attract what they don't want or fear.
Right.
And they do it again and again and again.
So we have to break the cycle.
That's right.
And concentrate and focus on the attributes.
The attributes, the qualities you want. Yeah, that makes sense. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello.
Hello, is this West of the
Yes,
Rockies?
that's you, West, yes.
Okay. This is sort of maybe off the line just a little bit, but I thought maybe she'd have the answers for this. My son's reading a book, and the title of it is YHWH. Now, someone said that was the name of Jehovah in Hebrew or something.
Yes, yeah, one of the names. There are 72 names of God in Judaism.
Okay. Now, the keys of Enoch, what can you tell me about that?
That is the Enochian form of high magic.
Oh.
And it would take you probably a good 10 years in order to understand the call. I got into evocation and summation at the age of 22. And when you are calling upon certain beings and entities, then you are going to be using not only the vibration of sound, but the seals and the sigils and the talisman that belong. And the Enochian is a very high form of magic that is used worldwide.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Right, thank you. First-time caller line, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Art, great show, man.
Thank you.
I'm calling from Nashville, Tennessee. I'd like to shout out to my buddies in the Tennessee Valley Healthcare System and ask Dr. Paglini, I heard earlier about the fertility to become impregnated. What about to have twins? Is there anything you help out there? I'm really glutton for punishment.
Again, honey, what you're doing is putting out the call for the spirit or the soul of a child or children. And if that soul feels that an incarnation within your environment and within your family and the opportunities that you offer, then it will heed the call.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I've got advice for you, too. Before you start calling on plural souls, you better have a talk with your wife.
Yeah. Also, I know somebody that never quite seems to get their just desserts, and you know, I don't want to curse him or anything, but I'd like to see him get his just desserts every so often.
And you want to know, again, what you can do is do a black reverse image candle. And so, in other words, use justice oil, and that which has been sent shall be returned.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Take care. Wildcard line, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi. It's kind of interesting when you were when the doctor was reading off the names.
Yes.
I was trying to write down the names as she was going. I got the names down, and right after I got done, I know this is a little strange, but a red rash appeared on my knuckle, and there was a stinging sensation, and a white welt appeared. And it was sort of like in the form of a crescent moon, and it was just really strange. I didn't feel anything else because I was too busy writing down the words. And so that was my experience with that. Secondly, she was mentioning earlier that we seem to be in a kind of heightened state of awareness right now. And
we are.
I happen to have had an experience that was kind of peculiar, that just about a month before the attack, I had I had an experience where I was. Do you guys recall the gentleman in L.A. who had dreams like 7 nights in a row of an airplane doing kind of a turn and then crashing?
No.
No. Okay. Well, anyway, I was having that experience while I was wide awake. I was having just flashes of an airplane in the air, just doing a kind of turn and crashing into a tall building. And I was wondering, I was looking at it thinking, well, that looks like L.A., and I was going, well, maybe New York. And for a period there, it kept on going, probably about...
You, of course, realize all of this would have been very much more impressive
I know.
had you told us then.
I know.
We'd all be going, oh, my God.
I know,
I'm
going, oh, my God.
Yeah.
You know, and she was mentioning that, we see...
Many people have prophetic dreams and visions, and, like I said, stress, depression, anxiety.
Yeah.
So you're not the only one, and that is because of the heightened awareness.
There you are. Okay. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, sir.
This is Keith from Hamilton, Ontario.
Okay.
To Evelyn, I've talked to her several times, and to you, Evelyn, actually about this once before, but constant, everyday, Hall of Fame bad luck. I had to talk or ask because a previous caller that somebody mentioned synchronicity. Is there a link between synchronicity and bad luck? Because I'm noticing, like you say a word and the television says the same word, or things like that happens to me every day.
Yeah, there would be a synchronicity trying to give you a warning, letting you know that either you might be under attack or that you have such a built-up negative cycle that it is now feeding upon itself. And your own intuition, your own gut feeling is giving off alarms or sending up red flares, saying, let's do something about this.
Yeah, you try to add it up or try to figure out, like, how do I measure this into my life, or how do I see a sign to this? But, like, there's no way to add it up, It's just very strange. I get about 6 or 7.
Keep a journal, it will start adding up.
Yeah.
There you are. Keep a journal. Good idea.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, sir. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with Dr. Evelyn Paglini.
This is Diane in Sacramento, actually Carmichael now. First of all, I did feel that power after she called up the names, and I wasn't expecting to because I was going around the apartment doing things, and I didn't even hear it very well.
I want you to know I was only at, I would say, quarter throttle.
Oh. Well.
Had I turned it up a notch, it would have become exciting.
And, about 2 or 3 days before the attack, I felt like I just had to get up and move. Of course, I've been hearing over and over again about people saying we should move out into the country because of anything like this, away from populated areas and stuff like that. But just 3 days before, I said, I've got to do it now. Of course, I wasn't able to, but I just felt like I should. And I also, this is probably more logic than anything, figured that they probably would learn to fly the planes themselves. And I did have another thing continuing to something more personal. I wanted to know if you were in Sacramento about 2.5 years ago at Arden Fair Mall, because I thought I saw you there.
No, I was not, unfortunately. It wasn't me.
Okay. Well, there you go anyway. We're running short on time. First-time caller line, you're on the air with Dr. Paglini.
Hi, my name is Ryan. I'm calling from Concord, North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
I listen to your show a lot, Art, and, I've heard everything, extraterrestrial sightings, psychic activity, magic, and everything, but I've never really personally witnessed anything like that myself. And I sometimes wonder if it's possible for a person to be blind and deaf to, spiritual phenomenon and magic involuntarily, the same way, you have a blind person or a deaf person who just doesn't want to be.
That's a really good question. Evelyn?
Yes, it is a very good question, and there are many people out there who will shut down their psychic ability. They will not allow it to rise to the surface. They don't want to deal with it, or they don't know how to deal with it, or they are afraid of it.
Yeah, but
they will numb themselves.
But is there a natural... Are there some people who are, as there are people who are blind or deaf, Evelyn, despite how they might try, it's just not within their grasp?
No, everyone has latent psychic abilities. It's just that they have to find out where their niche is.
Would you have any suggestion on how to go about finding that then?
I'd have to talk to you personally.
Okay, well, I've already sent you an email. I've been listening.
I'll be more than happy to answer it. Just make sure you have some patience, because it took me a little over a month to get back to most of them.
And the email address is qep@msn.com. Question Evelyn Paglini. That's qep@msn.com. Easy. All right?
Just people have patience.
All right, caller. Thank you. Take care. Wildcard line, you're on the air with Dr. Evelyn Paglini. Hello.
Hi, yes, I have the question for her.
Go ahead. Turn your radio off first. That's important.
Yeah, okay, it's off.
And go ahead.
Okay, the question I have for her...
Your name is?
My name is Corey.
Corey?
Yes.
Yes, Corey.
Well, I'm a student of a certain school that is actually located very close to the incident, the bombing that took place.
Okay.
And I have to agree with you full-fledged as far as when you said that we have to take off the gloves and handle it in that respect as far as us dealing with those that are behind the scenes. And I would definitely like to emphasize one point in particular, which is I would like people to, if they would, visualize not the Taliban, not Bin Laden, but those that wish to enslave us. Those behind the scenes. Those are the ones that we really need to concentrate on. I have an access television show in the Austin area, in Austin, and that's what I've been trying to emphasize. My motto is enlightenment versus enfrightenment, and I'm trying to counter that. negativity, And as far as the Patriot movement goes as well, they have a lot in common with the so-called New Age movement. They're both very demonized, but they both have a lot in common. One thing in common they have is Christ in particular, and that's another thing that we could concentrate on as well. Excuse me, I'm a little nervous. But I emphasize in particular concentrating on those that wish to enslave us if you want to do the visualization.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, and have a good morning. One more maybe. East of the Rockies, you're on there with Dr. Evelyn Paglini.
Hi, how do you spell Paglini?
Okay.
And could you repeat quickly the formula to attract someone romantically?
How do you spell Paglini?
Paglini.